have this thought in my head, and if I don't talk about it now, it's just going to go away. And instead of me going back to my office and writing a script on it, I figured I'll just try and do it with no script. This is the season of the year where we all get bombarded with all of these YouTube videos about how to transform yourself in 2026, how to completely redefine, remake yourself in the new year, right? Because it's December. A lot of these things come down to like productivity habits and habits in general. A lot of the advice we're going to hear is about how to go to sleep at the same time, how to have a consistent workout routine, and how all of these things, if you do them consistently, is what's going to make the biggest transformation in your life and going to get you to where you want to be in your life, professionally, financially, personally, all of those things, right? And as much as I don't disagree with them, I feel like we always miss like the nail on the head. Like we always miss the thing that actually makes a big difference in us. The thing that actually transforms us, the thing that actually makes us who we see in our minds compared to who we are in reality. And I actually don't think that we're not already that person. I think that person that we see in our heads that we want to be, that higher version of ourselves, is already there. It's just hidden behind all of these fears, all of these traumas, being in the survival mode. And the person who's going to have, you know, that leadership career or that professional career that you see in your mind, those goals in your mind, the way to become that person is actually working on the stuff that's inside, actually working on healing internally, because doing it this way is what's going to make the biggest difference in how easy it's going to be to become that person you want to be, to embody self-worth. And embodying such a secure person that becoming the leadership version of yourself, becoming the higher version of yourself, is just inevitable. Versus when you're coming from a place of, those are my goals, I'm going to hit those goals no matter what, and I'm going to put my head down and I'm going to do it based on all of these habits. And you're going to do it. I mean, you're going to accomplish your goals if you put your head down and you follow those habits and you follow a system consistently. It's going to happen also inevitably, but it's going to be so exhausting, and it's going to feel like you're constantly working against the system. You're constantly working against something because you just refuse to look internally first. Here's the thing. I love to talk about how to get into a leadership career, how to grow your professional career, and I can teach the skills, the communication skills, the technical skills, the things that you can read off of a book that will take you to that place of your professional goals. But what I've learned is that those aren't what make the biggest transformations. Those aren't what makes the biggest difference in achieving your goals. What really feels like a true transformation, like it's actually something where you're transforming into that higher version of yourself that you want to be, where it becomes so easy to achieve those goals, is working on those internal wounds that we have from our early experiences. And everyone has them. Unless you were obviously, I don't know, raised by perfect parents, we all have something that is holding us back. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've actually have met people who are so grounded in themselves and so confident in themselves, and they walk through life like it's so easy for them. And, I'm sure you've met them too, where you're just like, why is it so easy for them? How come they're so easy, or they're so good at like talking, and they're so good at getting that opportunity, and they're not afraid to go after those things? Why is it so easy for that person? And either that person was raised that way, or that person has already done all of that internal healing that gets them there. And that's why it's not, I mean, it is habits and all of that, but it's not just that. The biggest thing that you feel from them is that light energy that comes from self-worth, that energy that comes from embodying the confidence, the healed version of themselves that doesn't walk through life or doesn't walk through the world with all of these internal wounds kind of showing up in different places. And those internal wounds show up as many things. We've talked about this before. They show up as being a perfectionist. They show up as having a fear of speaking up. They show up as, lacking confidence and needing lots of validation, even at work. They show up as emotional irregulation and you not being able to sit in conflict without yelling or without snapping or, without being defensive. They show up in so many different ways, and we all have them. And the reason I know that we all have them is because I work daily with lots of different types of leadership, and everyone has their little thing that I'm just like, oh, that comes from a place of insecurity. Oh, him talking in that way comes from a place of, needing validation. Things like that are so, unfortunately, keep showing up in our place of work. The personal, which is where we get really scared because we think that personal should stay in our personal lives, but it doesn't. All of these little internal wounds show up in our professional world without us even realizing it. Sometimes it's really hard to have that sort of self-reflection and accept that that's what's happening. A lot of us want to hide behind, well, no, if I get a degree or that degree, specific degree, or if I get that specific experience, or if someone will just give me that opportunity, I'll know I'll be able to, take my career wherever I want it to go. When in reality, it's not that. It's that they themselves are holding themselves back because of whatever reason that is showing up based on their internal wounds. Because people can see through it, maybe not actively, not in a very explicit way, but they can feel it. They can feel that darker energy. And I know it's so weird to talk about the personal and talk about, the woo-woo stuff when it comes to your career and how it actually impacts your career. A lot of us don't want to hear that. So, yes, fixing your habits. Obviously, if you're not getting any sleep or if you're not taking care of your body, that is always going to impact your performance. That's just what happens. But to me, the biggest transformation, the biggest thing that's going to make a difference in your career in 2026 is working on those internal wounds, is trying to recognize those patterns that keep showing up in your job that maybe you keep ignoring because you don't want to do that radical self-awareness work because it's painful, it's vulnerable, it's uncomfortable, but it's what's going to make the biggest difference in your life. And I like morning routines. I like, productivity habits, and I like all of that stuff because they do make a difference and they're important. Although I don't know how important is a morning routine that's an hour and a half long. But I still believe that the biggest difference, the biggest transformation that you can make in 2026 to get you to where you want to be professionally is working on those internal wounds. I think that that's what's going to make the biggest difference. Okay, that's it. I just really needed to put that on video, record that in real time. I hope you enjoyed this video. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.